No, I am not agreeing with that. They are 14 years old. I think dating is healthy. I think so. I am not sending them out there to have sex. I don't know that they had sex.
True.
So it would mean that I'm really peeping and throwing them to a trap, trying to see if they will have sex, and that's not my concern. Because I would have spoken to them and I would have shown them the pitfalls and the dangers, whether they take it in or not. But as a parent, I would feel that I have really discharged my conscience by telling them the thing. Do you know that when a preacher comes and he tells you about the dangers of living in sin, he has done his job. He doesn't get you into the kingdom.
That's right.
He is there to show you the way. It is up to you to follow it.
Sure.
He hasn't got to come and take you to heaven. I will tell my child what they are supposed to do and what they are not supposed to do, what is healthy and what is not unhealthy, being older than they are, having the experience, and I can then tell them, fire burns. And if they don't believe me, push your hand in it, and then you suffer the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come to my home, that's my home. You are a child in my home, and your friend is a visitor. How dare you taking him in a bedroom in my home and closing the door? You got to be crazy.
And this is where this comes. This is how we in this part of the world view sex as something that is terrible. Something is definitely wrong with it. Because you see, I think you're sending a message here, and that is, I think it could be conceived as double standard. A double standard. Your home is sacred. Okay, right. Don't go into the room and lock up and have sex, because sex is not. My home is sacred, and if you get yourself in sexual activity at my home, you will definitely disrespect my home, degrade my home, and bring it down, because sex is not something that is good or holy. But you could go outside and do it to yourself, do it to your body, but not in my home.
But how will you expect my child, who is still being supported by me, a minor, that the government of this country hold me responsible for them? But and you bringing your boyfriend in at me to have sex and closing the door, and your mom and I outside, we would have to beg entrance?
Then this is the point.
The question.
The point I am making to you, John, you can't do it in the home, you can't do it outside. You're not allowed.
But I have not given you permission to go out and date and have sex in his car either. That does not come into play at all. Yes, I don't know what you do there.
You allow them to go out.
All right, I allow them to go out, but I didn't say you're free to have sex.
True.
I allow them to go as young people.
Okay, and Larry, before you come in, let me just give the numbers for that the listeners in New York and in North America could call it. Those of you in the US, you can call 718-879-5560, extension 303. For those of you in London, you can call 442-03-3161. Sorry, 82614, extension 337. You could reach us on Facebook at CCV Radio. You could also email us at ccvradio@ccvradio.com. You can send us a text chat on Skype, but that Skype is ccvradio.com. Or you can call in, even on Skype, call the CCV Radio to your Skype contact, and you can call us. For those of you who want to get in on the program. Yes, Larry, go ahead.
Okay, sure. I don't believe. If you instill some, instill whatever you want to instill in your kids, and you told them, well, sex is wrong, sex is not for you as a minor, until you probably meet consent or as an adult or something, or until you get on your own or whatever. I mean, I think you should believe in yourself. You instill that in your kids. I really and truly, I don't believe you should have anything really to be afraid of, because no matter what, as you said earlier, George, if it's the same thing that you try and prevent your kids from having at your home, why yet still you send the kids out on a date with a friend? You believe probably is the same thing what you prevented them from happening at home is the same thing what happened on the outside. But still, I don't believe everything your kids do, you have to be having eyes on them. You have to be watching them. I believe if you instill that in your kids and to go down that trend, how the best way I can put it? Yeah, if you instill that in your kids to go down that trend, I believe that should just be okay. And
you see
yeah, go ahead.
The point I'm making here to you, you can't send a message to tell a child, that this act or this conduct is only wrong when you do it in my home. But when you're out there and you do it on your own, it is not wrong. I think you don't want that kind of message. It's not that I agree that someone should actually, your 14 or 15-year-old son or daughter should be in the bedroom locked up, and you outside and they're watching TV or something. And if you want to get in contact with them, you have to go and knock and all of this kind of thing. It's not that I'm supporting that. The fundamental point that I'm making here to you, you have to be careful that you don't send mixed signal and tell your son or daughter, this is all right to do once you don't do it home in my house. And that's
George.
Really
George?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. John. Yeah, John. Yeah.
Yeah. When did we say that it was all right? Anywhere on Mars, Venus, or what? As two children. When did we say it was all right?
No. What you see? Get me.
It was all right.
I know. You never said that. What I said, you allowing them to go out.
Yes. But
the fact that you're allowing them to go out unsupervised.
Yeah.
Okay, they're outside the house, but when they come home, you have restrictions.
But what I'm saying, Josh, what I'm saying is this: I would already have spoken to my children about the dangers of having sex prematurely. I would already have said that to them. You can become pregnant, and then that there is a child here that must be supported. Can you support this child? You are not for that, because at 14 you are still in school.
You're still a minor. You're still a child.
You still a minor. Are you going? You practicing motherhood and going to school?
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't do it as a lecture. I would be talking to my children, letting them know that there is nothing more beautiful than sex. But when the time is right.
Right. Agree.
The moment they just have sex, I would tell them that. And we enjoy it. But we are responsible.
Hello, you hearing me?
Yes, we heard you loud and clear. What?
Yes.
Where you calling? Where you calling from, caller?
I am calling from St. Vincent, sir.
Oh, well, welcome. How is St. Vincent tonight?
This is good.
Okay,
Quiet.
well, proceed. Okay, proceed. Welcome. Well, glad to have you on board, and welcome.
Thank you.
Does Cecilia have a question?
Yes, she does. So you have a question for the panel? Hello? Yeah, do you have a question for the panel?
Yes, I just want to make some comments here. I am saying that hello, you hearing me?
Oh,
yes,
we are here. Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, I am saying in the first place, right? I would not allow my 14-year-old child to go out on a date, much more to go out on a date unsupervised, right? The kind of thing that is happening today, I think we will be crazy parents to allow a 14-year-old son or daughter to be going out on a date unsupervised, right? maybe if the child is a little older, then you can take the chance. But if we are talking about 14-year-old, I would not agree to send him or her out on a date on his own. So, another thing, I would not allow them, him or her, to come in my house and going into my bedroom. Not 1 minute of it. We must have standard, and if we have standard, we must set standard and set it right through, right?
Amen.
Even I would even think of it. I would even think about my child being older, going out on a date and coming in with his or her partner. I think some level of respect should be there. If you go out and you do what you do, if I already tell you what is expected of you, and you go and you do what you want to do, I am not responsible because I already let you know what I am expecting of you, right?
Thank you.
If you come, when you reach in my house, I am responsible for my house. And you are not going to walk in there with your boyfriend and your girlfriend, close the door, and I am outside sitting, and I'll break it off. Right? And I would let you know that this house belongs. I would let you know that this house belongs to me. So we have to have standard and we must have moral, right? I was expecting the age to be a little older, but if we're talking about 14 years and up, they're still children.
But you see, we are talking about teenager, and a teen start from the age of 13, so we are here, we are talking about teenagers.
I normally say books and boys don't mix. Books and girls don't mix. So you should first encourage your child to get his or her education, to set their goal, and then they can start thinking about dating. Okay? Thank you very much. That's my...
Okay, Kola, we want to thank you for calling and participating on the program. You have a good night. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks. Yes,
now, that's a wonderful submission.
Yes, because you see, it's in sync with what you're saying. Now, I don't see my only little problem. I hear you said something a while ago that you can't be a mother and get education. You can't be a mother and go to school. Why not? Why does
No, George, I think I need to make myself clear here. Don't let us use cat, because I know children who return to school. I also know there are pros and cons, but we would like to promote the pros, but there are some cons in that. And I tell you one of the cons in that. The other girls in the school, and I've known certain schools that have taken girls back, and the children in the class mothered that child, and then they begin to long for their own. I know about that. And it isn't long before they too became teenage mothers.
Each individual has to know what they want in life, and they have to know when it's time to go for it. You understand?
Each individual minor has someone who is there to protect them against themselves.
But if somebody wants to have 4 children, and they say, look, I want to have those 4 children before I reach the age of 22, it's very, very likely they could be in school or still be seeking an education around the age of 20, 22, or even 18, because they want the children to spread out, let me say, 2 years apart. But you want to have 4. You see the point about this? There are lots of people today who actually living as husband and wife and still going to school, still seeking an education. If a young man or woman say, I want to have, like I said before, have 4 children before I reach the age of 22, and I want my children 2 years apart, just do a calculation and see when they will have to start making those children. Obviously, they will still be in school. And I the caller said a while ago that boys and books don't match or girls and books don't match. I think there are people who are mature enough, who mature enough to definitely have the two of them. They could still have a relationship and still seek their education. Everyone may not be able to handle a situation like that. But to say boys and girls, you can't have, to say boys, books and boys don't match with girls, is to say you can't be seeking an education and have a relationship at the same time. I don't believe in that. Because people play sports and people do all kinds of things while seeking their education. So why is it someone can't have a relationship while they're educating themselves? I don't share that view.
I don't think that it is that you shouldn't be seeking education regardless what happened. But George, my 14-year-old, 15-year-old, I would try desperately to avoid being a grandfather at that age. When my child is 14, I would not want to be a grandfather. Because the child is not yet matured enough to understand the various vicissitudes of life. Mm-hmm. I most likely would have to support that child. Why should I be doing that? I'm not being cruel. I think that I should be able to nurture my child and bring it to a rounded citizen. Now my daughter's coming home at night to do homework and she's beating books and sitting down there over books trying to get an essay ready for tomorrow, and she is pregnant. Huh? What are we talking about? Is this one of the things you call human rights?
Mm-hmm. Well, where does human rights come into play there? Because she made a choice. The thing about it, I'm saying to you,
but you don't make a choice when you're a child.
You see, you're going into a whole different realm. You see, let me tell you something. I can't say that I disagree with you. Let me make that clear. I don't want to say that I disagree with you because I think at 14 years you're probably still growing up.
You're
still are growing. Yeah. And you're still learning a lot about life. Right? And it's hardly unlikely you're probably prepared for a child, and definitely you come up here, you're bringing up an unplanned pregnancy. I wouldn't say that at all.
Even biologically, you are not ready.
Well, no, I am not going to go down that road with you because I could tell you, in certain religions and certain believe that as soon as a girl reaches the age of puberty, she is definitely ready. Right? But that's going to go outside. That's going to go outside. Yes, I believe that is ready to go. But that is going to take us down another road. That we probably wouldn't have time to even touch 10% of it tonight. I agree. Like I said before, I'm not going to disagree with what you said. What I'm looking at here today is this kind of signals we send out. Oh, yeah, but let me just make this point and you get your emails lined up to read. Yeah.
They're not here yet.
Right. Before you get ready to line up the email.
Yeah.
I am saying sometimes we send wrong signals and try to condemn people too quick.
I agree with you, George.
Right.
I agree with you, but not in that case. That is a totally different case.
What case? A young lady made an error. A young lady made an error and get pregnant at the age of 14.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It's an error she made. In my opinion,
hold a minute. What did you say she made?
An error.
She made
error.
Yes. What?
An error. Made a mistake.
A mistake?
Yes, she get pregnant at the age of 14.
So that is an error. It's a mistake. You agree?
Yes, I agree. Yes. I am in most cases. In most cases, she might think she's ready. No, she may not get pregnant by accident. She might fully well be well aware of what she was doing, and fully aware of the consequences that she would have get pregnant. Why?
But in any case, getting pregnant is a mistake.
Why is she fully aware that she having sex? And the possibility of she will get pregnant, or even wanted to get pregnant in some cases, because people sit get trained for all kinds of reasons because they're looking for love and all that kind of thing.
Okay. Fine.
Mentally, she may not be prepared for that child or ready for that child, even though she think if I bring a child into this world now, I will have somebody to love or somebody to love me.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, right, she went out and she get pregnant. But mentally, when she see the stress of having a child and to care for a child, reality will now hit home.
I see.
And
you don't believe in the philosophy that prevention is better than cure?
Of course I do believe prevention better than cure.
That's good.
But the thing about it, when you make mistakes and you learn from life experience is the best teacher.
That's true.
You could now, for your mistakes now, you could now put it over to somebody that don't make the same mistake I make. You say when you come over, you have somebody to come over.
You keep calling it a mistake. You keep calling it a mistake, George.
It is a mistake because the person...
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. It is a mistake.
The person didn't prepare mentally for what would have come after. What I am saying to you now, we should not condemn such an individual.
Correct.
Because they went and and started to tell you about your education and so on. They're telling you, look, you will have to pick up your pieces from here now. This should not be the end of your education. It should not be the end of your life. This is now a part of life that you will have to deal with.
Absolutely.
I agree. I agree with that.
This is the message I think we should be sending to the individual.
But I agree with that. I'm not condemning the girl who gets pregnant at 14, you know. What I'm saying is this: I would make every effort to prevent such a situation. Not and then condemn her. Of course not. If I could stop her from doing, because you regard it as a mistake. A mistake is not something that one enjoys making. You learn from them.
That's right.
But since it is a mistake, then something is wrong.
And let's look at it in this way as well, too, because sometimes, most of the time, I said let's look at it in this way, because sometimes, most of the time, they're where you call in the parents, and sometimes, a child may be in a home, but yet still a child be in a home. The child don't have not seen the love from whether the mother or the father, and this child would be venturing on the outside, looking for attention, looking for something that he or she could probably grab onto. Hence why you see some young women get pregnant, because they're not getting the love, or probably if you want to put it, if the parents in a financial constraint or whatever. And eventually, this teenager now, she may be probably have someone probably who's willing to probably take care of her and whatnot, and she involved in a relationship with this fella now, and here you go, intimacy starts, and she got pregnant.
We've got emails.
Okay, well, read the emails, because I really want to come back and beat that point up a little bit, because I don't think I really... so let's get to the emails.
I'll read our first email. Okay, we have got an email here from LJ. It says, in society today, the parenting skills is decreasing simply because children are parents. Also, the television shows have influence as much, and as such, it is difficult to stop the child from dating. What LJ is saying is that parenting skills are decreasing simply because children are becoming parents.
I think you can call the name of the person, because what we say that is that if the person did not want the name, they would not have put their name on the name.
Okay, this is from Linda Jones. Thank you, Linda, for your email.
Yes.
Do we want to make a comment on that?
Well, it's in a sense, yes. I can't. I mean, there was little one could actually disagree with what Linda said in her email. Parent skills, we have seen that for quite a while.
And I think
children making children, I don't know. The population has increased, but I don't think anything now that is happening in the world now today, and many people will not agree with me here, did not happen before. What has happened, it happened the volume in which this has happened and the scale in which this has happened is much more frequent and more wide. But every single thing that is happening in the world today happened 40, 50, 60, 100 years ago. It always been happening. But because of the increasing population, the media in itself plays a part that we hear about them a lot more. You know? And we will want to think that the world has changed and evolved so much. Maybe it has in many ways. But it has evolved in terms of that information now is now available at our fingertips. So people hear about these things quite more often than we usually hear about it in the past.
Okay, let's take email number 2. Thank you very much. This is Carolyn Cansey. Thank you for calling us. And Carolyn says, I will allow dating to occur only if I pre-educated the child on the consequences, such as STD, etc. However, with the influence of modern society, teenagers may not have self-control. That is from Carolyn Cansey. Thank you, Carolyn.
Stick a pen. Stick it here for her. And I note where she said, due to the influence of modern society, the teenagers may not have the control or the type of words to that effect. Now, how would you handle a situation that because they may not have the control, there is where your parenting skills comes in. Parents will now, as I said before in my opening statement, parents will have to step up to the plate and unleash all of the parenting skills in the kinds of influence that we have today and the kinds of distractions that we will have and influence out there, because you may tell your child and impart certain values into your child. But when that child go out there, the peer pressure is so much that all of our friends is doing it. All of our friends becoming pregnant. All of our friends have boyfriends, girlfriends, so on. You become a sort of odd, or you feel sort of left behind because you feel abnormal. Everybody else is doing it, and it will look to you. It will look to you very much as something is wrong with you. And this is where, again, you tell your child, society must not set standards for you.
But society, I tell you something.
Society should never ever set standards for you.
Right, but George, I am in fullest agreement with you when you said that here is where your parenting skills come in. Don't leave it to society. There is a micro society in my home, which is a prototype almost of the wider world.
That's right.
I have a government home at me. It doesn't have to be in Parliament. It is in at me.